Kansas is kind of a libertarian wet dream. The Koch brothers spent a ton of money influencing the politicians there, including the governor, former Senator Brownback, who's now in charge there. Now, you have to understand that when Brownback came in, he actually had taken over for a Democratic governor in Kansas. Yes, it's true. And that his predecessor had actually left him a fairly good situation. We'll let Vox explain here. Spending cuts and a 1-cent sales tax passed by Brownback's Democratic predecessor had combined with economic growth to give Kansas a surplus. Great. So this Republican comes in, he's in terrific shape, he's got a surplus thanks to a Democrat who, yes, raised the tax by 1 cent, and it worked. Okay, so what's Brownback going to do? Of course, he's going to cut taxes, right? So first he says back in 2012, our place, Kansas, will show the path, the difficult path for America to go in these troubled times. Well, 2012 was a little troubled, that's true, but not so much in Kansas where you had a surplus. So I don't know what you're talking about with troubled times, at least budgetarily, right? But he says, oh, I'm going to be bold. What's his bold plan? I hope you're sitting down. Cut taxes on the rich. Wow, I didn't see that. So the Cato Institute, Libertarian Institute, also backed by the Koch brothers, says these are impressive tax cuts. And they give him an A on fiscal policy. Go get him, A. This is really going to work. This is what they wanted all along, right? And the Weekly Standard, which is also a conservative publication, says this will be the story of the next decade. Well, little do they know, it just might be. Now let's see how it turned out. Now, again, Brownback promised wonderful things. He said, I firmly believe these reforms will set the stage for strong economic growth in Kansas. Okay, so what were the exact specific proposals? The governor proposed to cut income taxes on the state's highest earners. Wow, really? Give me a tax break to the rich. I didn't see that coming. From 6.45% to 4.9%. To simplify tax brackets and to eliminate state income taxes on most small business income entirely. Giving a tax cut to the businesses and the rich. Well, it's okay. It's going to stimulate the economy, right? I mean, that's what I'm told over and over again. Now, he said it's okay. This is going to pay for itself because he's going to eliminate some deductions. Who is he going to eliminate deductions from? Of course, the middle class. So he's going to take away things like your mortgage deduction in Kansas. Well, that proved to be deeply unpopular. So after his proposal was brought into the legislature, even the conservative Republicans in Kansas go, oh, I can't kill the mortgage deduction. Are you crazy, dog? They'll throw us all out of here, right? So they take that part out, but they leave the other tax cuts in. So what happens? The bill's estimated price tag rose from about $105 million to $800 million. But Brownback kept supporting it anyway. Facts be damned. We've got a war on math over here in the Republican Party. We'll be fine. Now, you have to remember, Kansas, by law, has to balance its budget every year. An $800 million hole in a budget in Kansas is significant. Let's see how it turns out. Brownback's administration said it's going to be okay because they claimed the bill would create 23,000 jobs by 2020 and would lead to 35,000 more people to move to Kansas. So this is the trickle-down economics we've been told about, supply-side economics. It's okay. It looks like we're losing revenue and money by lowering taxes on the rich, but it's okay. Jobs are going to pour in, and then we're going to have even more revenue. Okay. Now we go back to Vox for an explanation of what actually happened. Kansas is now hundreds of millions of dollars short in revenue collection. Its job growth has lagged the rest of the nation, and Moody's has cut the state's bond rating. Damn. So let's review. The jobs did not materialize. It's lagging the rest of the country in the recovery, right? So they're not doing as well as everybody else, even though the supply side economics was supposed to create economic miracles, right? Where are they? Where are they? They're not there because they were never going to come. It was actually just a giveaway to the rich, which then created a huge budget problem for you. How big? The former state budget director says the state general fund revenue is down over $700 million from last year. Okay. To give you context, they say that's a bigger drop than the state had in the whole 3 years of the recession. In the worst 3 years of the recession, not as big as 1 year of tax cuts for the rich, $700 million in the hole. And they explain, and it's a huge chunk of the budget because the state's budget is only $6 billion. So when you lose $700 million out of $6 billion, that hurts, Lebowski. So now, you got to cut somewhere. You have to balance it. What are you going to do? The declining revenues have necessitated extensive cuts in state education funding, according to Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. And there you have it. And in the end, what happened? Oh, golly gee, we had to give tax cuts to the rich, and then, oh, we ran out of money, so we took it out of your kids' education. Now, oftentimes when they do it on the federal level, they go, it's okay, because education is supposed to be a state issue anyway. Oops, this is the state of Kansas. Now, they don't have money for education either. Why? Because they already gave it away to the rich. Again, people see this as a disaster, and it's fair to think that, and Brownback's ratings are now down to 33% in Kansas. Republican governor down to 33%. How's that working out for you, right? But the reality is, of course, it's mission accomplished, because the rich people, including the Koch brothers, who are from Kansas, got exactly what they paid for out of Sam Brownback. Now, finally, you can't argue with these numbers. You have this enormous budget shortfall and the economy did not recover. So are they gonna say, okay, you got us, at least we'll do better going forward, we've learned our lessons? They're Republicans. I don't think so. So here is Brownback's revenue secretary. He says, well, this is an undeniable result of President Obama's failed economic policies of increasing taxes and overregulation. Of course, it's always Obama's fault. Well, that's interesting. Well, why isn't it affecting the rest of the country that way? Why are you guys lagging the rest of the country if it's Obama's fault? You have to understand something. They never believed in supply-side economics. They didn't actually think the revenue of the government was going to go up if you cut taxes on the rich. It was just a flimsy excuse to be able to do what they wanted to do, what they got paid to do. So in the case of Kansas, they cannot deny it anymore, though they will, and they'll blame it on Obama, they'll blame it on Democrats, they'll blame it on actually increasing taxes, the exact opposite of reality. But the numbers are in, the facts are in, and if you're not blinded by ideology, it is clear as day. All it is a giveaway to the rich donors who gave them the money to run their campaigns in the first place. Wolf-pack.com